Nomgcobo Jiba's legal advisor, Zola Majavu, has welcomed the Mokgoro Enquiry's announcement that former BOSASA COO Angelo Agrizzi may be called to testify. This comes after Agrizzi implicated Jiba and her colleague Lawrence Mrwebi in his testimony before the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. Retired Justice Yvonne Mokgoro is heading the inquiry in Pretoria. It's probing the fitness of Mrwebi and Jiba to hold office. Agrizzi detailed how BOSASA CEO Gavin Watson paid Jiba, Mrwebi and another NPA official, Jackie Lephinka, monthly bribes to assist BOSASA with information on the NPA's investigation into the facility and management company. For more on this story, let's now cross live to our reporter, Sipho Stuurman. He's been on the story since it started. Sipho, a very good morning to you. How has the news of the possibility of Angelo Agrizzi appearing there been received?
A very good morning to you and our viewers at home. Indeed, that is evidence. A leader advocate, Nazrim Bawa, announced that she's written to Agrizzi to come and testify before this Mokgoro inquiry. Of course, following those allegations that Agrizzi made at the state of capture inquiry, suggesting that both Jiba and Mrwebi received bribes between 10,000 and 100,000 from BOSASA to stop or to block possible prosecutions from wrongdoing that would have been possibly done by, of course, BOSASA. Now, even on the very first day, as you mentioned there, Jiba and Mrwebi's team did mention that there was a possibility of this matter coming through, and they had wanted to find out how the commission, this inquiry, was going to deal with it. But at the time, Advocate Bawa said that she had not received any evidence relating to those allegations made by Agrizzi. But of course, she did confirm yesterday that she's got a transcript of the testimony that Agrizzi gave at State of Capture Commission, and so then she intends to call Agrizzi to come here and testify. And perhaps maybe this is the smoking gun that this inquiry needs, because so far the witnesses that have come here, you, Breitenbach, and all the other advocates that have worked with these two, well, they've given evidence, but of course that evidence is really just been difficult to sort of, nail these two, or rather, so to speak, to pin them down, because it seems to be a matter of opinions. You have them saying, well, the Mrwebi charges should not have been dropped, but then at the same time, under cross-examination, they did concede that the investigation was not complete at the time. And then you look at the fact that since the charges were withdrawn by Mrwebi, they have not been able to successfully re-enroll that case. So certainly there's some issues there. So far, the evidence that has been given here, there seems to have been nothing that really sticks or that really is hitting hard at these two advocates. And perhaps the testimony by Agrizzi will be what this inquiry needs in terms of having, very strong, tangible allegations against these two. Because even with the political interference, yes, it is. That is the allegations of political interference under Jiba's leadership when she was acting after Menzi Sulemani. Yes, you can perhaps suggest that certain decisions were taken to protect certain people, but how do you prove that as a matter of fact? So that's some of the issues that this inquiry seems to have. Even during cross-examination, you can see that it takes very quickly, and the team is quickly satisfied. So certainly, it will be interesting, what value or what weight that Agrizzi, brings to this inquiry should he accept, the invitation to come forward.
We're rounding a story this morning saying that Mr. Nomgcobo Jiba's legal advisor is actually pleased with the development that Agrizzi may come through. You have had a chat with Mr. Majavu. He seems to be so confident in terms of his client's ability to come out from this process looking good. What is your sense with your interaction with Mr. Majavu?
Well, he's a lawyer. He has to put up a brave face to comfort his client, I say. But certainly, you have this inquiry that's looking into your fitness to hold the office. You have the possibility of Agrizzi coming here to testify on allegations of having received a bribe. There is still the Constitutional Court matter where she can possibly be removed from the role of advocate. There is that decision from the NPA whether perjury and fraud charges will be reinstated. We know that we've been informed that the charges have been dropped by the NPA, but that decision has not officially come from the office of the NPA head. And the NPA head, I think the incoming NPA head may reverse that decision that was taken before she arrives. So there's a number of issues and controversies around Jiba, and certainly it's difficult to see how she's going to survive all of this, especially with the NPA looking to clean its image. Of course, I mentioned to you that there is a new NPA head that's coming through tomorrow, Advocate Pretoria, who was appointed late last year after that very public interview process. So you have an NPA here that's trying to clean up its image, trying to regain public trust and become a credible institution, and certainly now does having the likes of Jiba and Mrwebi help the image of the NPA. Some may say not so much. So certainly Advocate Majavu may put on a brave face, but there are a lot of issues that Jiba is facing here, and we're going to have Agrizzi giving more detail into the claims of the bribes allegation.
What can we expect today, Sipho?
Well, today we're expecting a Villehof mayor, who is one of the NPA deputy heads, to come here and give testimony. He's worked very closely with both Mrwebi and Jiba, so he will be taking the stand. Yesterday we've also had a colleague of theirs, that is Advocate Mrwebi, who testified that he did not agree with the decision to drop the Mrwebi charges, that is the charges of fraud and corruption that were dropped in 2011 by the Richard Mdluli charges, who is the former crime intelligence boss. Those charges were dropped by Advocate Mrwebi, whose fitness is also being tested here. So he says, that is Mrwebi, that he did not agree with that decision because he believed there was a prima facie case, and that you don't just drop a prima facie case, you put it in court, and that there have been instances where when you don't have enough evidence, you enroll the matter and then you ask for further postponements in court. You don't just simply drop the matter. So you get a sense that a number of the NPA senior advocates feel very much aggrieved by the decision to drop those charges against Richard Mdluli. And at the time, this was a very high profile and important case, and it was a case that was meant to perhaps test the independence of the NPA, considering that Richard Mdluli was considered to be politically connected. So it was really a test of the NPA's independence and how it can take its own decision without political interference. And many feel that during that time, under Jiba and Mrwebi's leadership, the NPA failed the independence test, hence they withdrew the charges against Mrwebi. But as I mentioned to you, many of the witnesses that have come here under cross-examination did say, well, there wasn't, the investigation was not complete. And that even those advocates such as Breitenberg and Mrwebi may feel strongly that the case will stand in a court of law. Some advocates have come to a different conclusion. So it's a matter of opinions, and then I suppose that this inquiry then will have to make its own conclusion on how it takes the evidence given here by the advocates that have come here from NPA so far. But certainly the news of Agrizzi possibly coming here could perhaps be the smoking gun that this inquiry needs in terms of finding something that really sticks and can really lead to perhaps effectual findings of wrongdoing against these two. But so far it seems to be a battle of opinions that yes, I think the charges should have been withdrawn. The others saying that no, they should not have been withdrawn against Mdluli. And who is wrong, who is right. So those are the decisions that this inquiry needs to make.
You're absolutely correct. Conversation out there about whether Richard Mdluli really is off the hook, but that's a conversation for another platform. Everybody looking forward to the testimony today of Villehof Meyer. Thank you so much for that update, Sipho.